Hello everyone, and welcome to our CFS special on Saturday, August 9th, 2025. So starting off with yesterday's CFS 18Z run, we can see that going through into rest of August, we see this heat wave building through the early part of the week. Then we keep seeing quite warm and dry up to around the 17th of the month. By that point, we're going more westerly, but that is short-lived. Back to high pressure for most of the rest of August, until the very end of the month when the high goes northwards, and we end up starting September looking wet and windy. Warmer and drier again by mid-September, and beyond that we go wetter again towards the end of the month. October starts off looking dry and warm on the first day, but then quickly goes warm and wet instead. Easterly winds for a while there, a bit chilly, but overall nothing too bad, quite dry, I suppose. And high pressures in control there around mid-months, so southeasterly winds and warm weather. Late month is a cold snap there, the first one of the season on the 24th. And we end the month looking very mild, exceptionally mild, with these long stretch southwesterly winds and copious rainfall amounts, especially in the west and north. Probably a cold front there, that's traps. Halloween looks quite wet, I think. And we start off November looking wet and windy, that area of low pressure. A bit colder there by the 8th and 9th, a slight easterly wind there, but nothing overly cold just yet. Mid-month going wetter and windier, with more westerly winds, quite a changeable pattern here. And going into early December, well, again, easterly winds, but however that isn't a very cold sort of air from Europe, so probably a bit chilly, but nothing too wintry at all. But now, as we go into mid-December, we can see that the high goes northwards to become a blocking feature, and we do see a temporary colder spell there, quite dry though, but very frosty there through mid-month period. And upper temperatures by that point, quite mild aloft, but I think on the surface it'll be quite cold and frosty with clear skies. Then coming towards Christmas, we go milder, wet and windier. And Christmas Day itself, well, Christmas Eve, it looks stormy with this run and quite mild as well. But Christmas Day keeps it mild, wet and windy. Go through towards the New Year, looking mild, wet and windy. Bit colder in the north for a time, but New Year itself looks quite cool and showery. January, starting off quite changeable, but by mid-January we've got a brief cold snap there before it does collapse away. Here is the CFS midnight run. So once again, got a warm spell coming up now through next week and beyond, it seems. So that's right, summer continues right through towards the end of August, and it breaks down just in time for September when it goes wetter and windier in all areas. That would be quite a deep low there, but on the 11th. And we keep going. It stays wet, windy, cool and showery right through the month. In fact, quite cold there by 26th, with northerly winds in these by that point. But as we go through towards October, we start off drier, much drier and a bit milder with high pressure from the south, but that's short-lived. We keep going into more westerly winds, a bit milder again there and drier by the 13th, with more easterly winds. Quite nondescript there into the final third of the month. Southerly winds, quite cloudy, quite drab, and Halloween is looking a bit showery, I think. Deep low comes through in early November, bringing a cold snap from northwest and a few showers with it. Beyond that, we go a bit colder again around the 8th, northerly wind there, but that's transient. High pressure does ridge to our north, cutting that off, turning it into a milder southeasterly airflow. And let's see what happens. So it's very changeable through mid-month of November. Keep going. And, well, starting off December, interestingly, going, so we have a high pressure forming towards Greenland, Iceland, and it does ridge towards Greenland itself. We're dropping a very cold northerly wind by the 3rd of December. Upper temperatures drop to -10 Celsius ice therm, so that's really cold for such early on in the winter there. But by the 5th, it's going milder, at least temporarily. Upper temperatures show that quite nicely. Yeah, we go mild, wet, windy there by the 6th of December. Beyond that, we stay quite cool, but not as cold as it was in the first part of the month. And by Christmas time, once again, we're going into a much colder pattern there, with lows taking a very, very interesting track. They're diving southwards from the north. That brings snowfall to us, the country, I believe, as they do so. Yes, they would bring snowfall. I can't see snow depth, unfortunately, but that would be snowing. On Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, that would be a snowy Christmas for many areas. Very cold easterly winds and the front and mix. Beyond that, it goes briefly milder towards New Year. New Year's itself is quite mild, but we're not far at all from a cold spell to our north. That does brighten temporarily on the 3rd January, but quickly it's swept away. And we go overall milder. We still have blocking there, and that will dig the cold in at times, but it's just not strong enough to do it with a lot of conviction. Here's the CFS 6Z run. Once again, warm and dry through the rest of August, especially in the south, I think. Let's see what happens. So once again, going towards September, signs of a change, and yes, it goes for showery, and by the 9th and 10th of the month, we go into western and windier. That's short-lived. By mid-month, high pressure is back over the country, plenty of warm and dry weather. Going towards the end of the month, it goes for changeable, with a more westerly airflow. October starts off mild and dry, and beyond that it goes more showery and cool, possibly from the east. Mid-month looking dry and mild again, so quite a dry and mild October from this run. Halloween is looking wet and windy on this run, by the way. No, going into November looking wet and windy to start off the month. Beyond that, you get a high pressure as well towards Scandinavia, quite an intense high, 1,050 millibars over that area there, Western Russia towards Finland. And that does not bring any cold air. In fact, it just stalls this area of close to the west. And actually, but by the 18th, 19th, it does bring some colder air from the east. I take my words back. But it's not overly cold. A few winter showers, but other than that, it's nothing to write home about. But as we go towards December, we can see a very cold air mass trying to dig in from the north, and it does so for a time. It's pushed back though by these mild westerly winds. Let's see what happens here. Mid-month still very mild, exceptionally mild there by the 18th maybe. Coming up now towards Christmas, and we do look colder and dry with easterly winds. That'd be a cold Christmas, guys, on this run. Probably with showers into the east coast, wintry at times. We go between Christmas and New Year. Well, that looks interesting. We've got battleground scenario here, with an area of low pressure trying to push in there to the south, but it's encountering the cold air over us and to the north, and that would result in all sorts of fun and games. But on New Year's Eve, it does look like the mild air will be breaking through, and that will introduce a thaw of any snowfall. And we start 2026 on a very, very mild note with long fresh southwesterly winds. And mid-January looks a bit colder and frostier. Actually, very cold there by the 19th with very cold air coming from the east. And finally, we have the CFS 12Z as far as it goes towards the latter part of November. As we know, very warm and dry through rest of August. A brief interlude there around 23rd, that's wetter and windier. Let's see, I'd say brief interlude, but it seems to last for the rest of August. Oops. Guys, I do not see these charts beforehand. I am doing this blindly, I'm just guessing. But actually now, September does start off cold with northerly winds. Briefly dry warmer again, but before it normally comes back by mid-month. So quite a changeable month here it seems, before it does go more stably high and dry there by the late month. So starting off October looking westerly, deep low there for a time. Let's see, westerly winds prevail really till the 13th, when we see a more big build of high pressure. And end of the month looks wet and windy, westerly winds. Halloween, wet and breezy, quite mild. And we start off November looking like we missed a cold snap just to the east, unfortunately. And mid-month is looking actually quite interesting. Quite interesting patterns. Got high pressure to our east towards Scandinavia. That we bring in, trying to bring in a cold spell, but that fails. It goes into Eastern Europe, and maybe by the Saturday, the 22nd of November, we actually go into, we're threatening to bring in this cold air from the north. But then, so everyone, thanks for watching. I'll see you in a week's time after I'm back from the UK, and bye for now.